In question 17, we're given the vertices of a quadrilateral are 1, 5, 5, 4, 1, -3, -3, 4. Now there's a few words here we need to look at first. Vertices. Vertices is just another name for corners. And that's plural, that just means many. And the word vertex, it means single corner. And now we have this word here, quadrilateral. There's the word quad in there. And quad just simply means 4. So a quadrilateral is a 4-sided shape. So for example, a square, a rectangle, and now this here can also be a quadrilateral. 1, 2, 3, 4. As long as it's got 4 sides or 4 edges, it's a quadrilateral. Now before we move on, I just want to discuss this coordinate pair here. So you have 1, 5. What I want you to know that the first number here is the x part or the x coordinate, and the second number here is the y part or the y coordinate. And sometimes you will hear people say along the corridor, and for this one they'll say up the stairs. So you travel along and then you travel up. Now let's look at the question. This dark line or this thick line here is the x-axis. So that is the x-axis. And there's a dark line running up and down the middle, and that there is the y-axis. Now the grid starts here, it originates from here. So that will be 0. Then we have this first point in the positive x direction. So that will be 1. And this point here will be 2, 3, and so on. Now going in this direction, we also have the x-axis, but it's going to have negative numbers. So this point here is going to be -1, -2, or sometimes people call it -3, -4, and so on. Now running up and down vertically, up and down, we have the y-axis. So from here, if we go up, that point there will be +1. This point here will be +2. This point will be +3, and so on. And going down, we have the negative y values. So this is still the y-axis. And this point here will be -1. And this point here where the 2 lines cross is -2. And this point will be -3. Now really I should write it here, -4. But it makes it difficult to see. So I'll write it just above. So -5, this point here. And we can put -6. So now that's our axes labelled up. Now we've got point 1, 5 and 5, 4. And they've already plotted those for us. So from the origin we go 1 in the x direction and 5 in the y direction. So we end up here. So that's our first point. Now we've just plotted this point, but they've already given us it on the question. Now we need to look at this one, 5, 4. 5 in the x direction, 4 in the y direction. So it's going to be 5 in the x direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're here. And then it's 4 in the y direction, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the second point. And they've already given us these two. And they've joined the line for us. So let's draw a line there. Now it's important you use a ruler. Now we've plotted this. They gave us those two. So our job is to plot this coordinate and this coordinate. So let's have a look. 1, -3 or 1, -3. 1 in the x direction, -3 in the y direction. So from here we go 1 in the x direction and -3. Because it's -3 or -3, we have to go down. 1, 2, 3. And that's our point. So if you can look, that's your y coordinate. So you always go in the x direction and then the y direction. So now we've plotted 1, -3 or 1, -3. And we have one more point. -3, 4. -3, 4. X coordinate, y coordinate. Along the corridor, up the stairs. So it's -3, 4. So we go -3, 1, 2, 3. And 4 in the y direction. Because it's +4, we go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is our fourth point. And now we simply get a ruler and join these up to make our quadrilateral. So this is our quadrilateral, a four-sided shape. 1, 2, 3, 4. Question 18. We're given a cat sleeps 12 hours each day. And they've given us that is 50% of the day. Now, how did they work that out? So we know there's 24 hours in one day. In one day. So if a cat sleeps 12 hours, what fraction of the day does the cat sleep? So the cat sleeps 12 out of 24 hours. So that's the fraction of the day that the cat sleeps. Now, what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to simplify it. Now, what I'm going to do with this is simplify it, write it in its simplest form. And how do we do that? We have a look which times table is the 12 in and the 24 in. Now, if you know your times tables, you can see straight away 12 and 12 plus 12 is 24. So they're both in the 12 times table. So I can divide the top by 12 and the bottom by 12. So let's do that here. So I'm going to divide the top number or the numerator by 12. And whatever I do to the numerator, I have to do to the denominator there. "12 divided by 12 is simply 1. And 24 divided by 12 is 2. Because if I did 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, and so on with my 12 times table, I can see I've got 2 lots of 12 to make 24. So 2 lots of 12 make 24. So I put 2 there. So now what I have is this fraction a half. Now the question is, how do you turn a fraction into a percentage? And the rule is simple. You always multiply by 100. So we have to do a half times 100. And how do we do this? We divide this number by 1. So now we have 2 fractions. And you multiply straight across for fractions like this. So it'll be 1 times 100, which is 100. And 2 times 1, which is 2. So I know 100 divided by 2 is 50, or half of 100 is 50. So that is going to be 50%. And that's how they got that there. Now we need to find out what percentage of the day the koala sleeps. So it sleeps 18 hours. So as a fraction, it's 18 out of 24 hours it sleeps. And let's see if we can simplify this fraction first. I can see that they're both even numbers. So I can divide them both by 2. So I can divide the numerator by 2. And I can divide the denominator by 2. So 18 divided by 2. So this is where it's important to know your halves and doubles. So half of 18 is 9. And half of 24 is 12. Now if I didn't know my halves, I'd have to do the 2 times table. So I'd have to do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and 24. So half of 18 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So once I get to 18, I can stop. So there's 9 lots of 2. So that's why you've got the 9 there. And the same thing with the 24. How many 2s are there in 24? We can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, can I simplify this any further? Let me have a look. Oh, I can spot a pattern. I can see that 9 is in the 3 times table and 12 is also in the 3 times table. So I can divide the numerator by 3 and the denominator by 3. So 9 divided by 3, and whatever I do to the top number, I have to do to the bottom number. So 12 divided by 3. So how many 3's are there in 9? Because I know my 3 times table, I can do that. 3, 6, 9. So there's 3. And how many 3's are there in 12? 3, 6, 9, 12. So there's 4. So my answer is 3/4. Now the next question I can ask is, how do I turn 3/4 into a percentage? So let me write 3/4 here. And what did they do here? They multiplied it by 100. So the rule is you multiply the fraction by 100. And what do we do with this? We divide this by 1, so it gives us 2 fractions. And whenever you multiply fractions, you multiply straight across. 3 times 100 is 300. And 4 times 1, which is 4. So this is our calculation. So let's write this over here to give us some room. So 300 divided by 4. Now it's raining. So I'm going to build a bus shelter for 300 because it's getting wet. So I'll put 300 here. And the 4 has to go outside. Now I ask myself, how many 4s are there in 3? So I can't get any 4s from 3, so I put 0. And the 3 I carry over to this next column. So now this 0 becomes 30. So my question is, how many 4s are there in 30? Again, if I know my 4 times table, I know it'll be 7. But let's check. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. So we've gone past, so we're only allowed to go to there. So let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 lots of 4 in 30. We've used 28 up, but we had 30. So we have a remainder of 2, and the remainder gets carried over to the next column. So now this 0 becomes 20. How many 4s are there in 20? We can look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 lots of 4 in 20. So we put that there. And because there's no remainder, we can stop. So our number is 075. But what did we say about the leading zeros? We can cross that out. So now the answer is 75. So now we know the koala sleeps 75% of the day.